This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
We're at the Minnesota State Fair and glad to be here. It's day number 5 of the fair. No, is it 5 or 6 for the fair?
6. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's our
Tuesday.
4th day here at the fair. We'll be here tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday as well. I'm the common man, Dan Cole. He's 10 to me. Excited and delighted to be joined by the legendary Mark Rosen of Channel 4 Sports. Sports is your whole life, just sports fame.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
Is this mic on?
Hello.
Oh, did you switch up the mics?
We switched them up on you on purpose. No, it's working out.
No,
It's working out. No, it's working out.
That's fine.
I did.
Usually we have 2, 3, 4 going.
Yeah, I did a little shell game with the headset. Sorry about that.
We're good to go.
Good to see you. How are you?
Doing great. Yeah, beautiful day. All week is just picture perfect for the fair and the attendance numbers. I think yesterday broke an attendance
Did it really?
for a Monday.
Okay.
For the Mondays, 154,000 or something,
Wow.
and just barely scratched past, I think, a year ago or so. But, yeah, this is looking at the forecast for Labor Day weekend and the kids going back to school, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure they'll be breaking records because the weather looks absolutely perfection. Just hope it stays like this for another month or two.
And you had a little apple pie just a little while ago?
I
you
did.
said?
I stopped. I parked my car over there and then walked past the that apple pie place.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist that, so that was my dessert. Had a sandwich at home.
What'd you have for a sandwich?
I had
ham and cheese today on sourdough.
I had turkey and pretty boring.
Nothing boring about that.
Turkey and cheese. I don't remember what kind of
Good
cheese
turkey.
I had.
Good turkey and
Yeah.
cheese.
Oh, yeah, I can't
What
beat
kind of
that.
bread you have it on, Mark?
Whole wheat.
Whole wheat.
Yeah, I'm a whole wheat guy.
I don't
eat that much bread anymore.
I try not to either, but that whole wheat's like rocks and twigs and sticks in it. You put it in a toaster, you got a forest fire going after a while.
I always get the half
Top right,
loaf,
Alex
that's
Cole.
about it. Anyway, yeah, all good.
When we last talked, Sam Howell was still on the roster, right? And so
Correct.
Rippon?
Correct.
So, all right. So since that happened, I think you were convinced Howell was going to be the backup. I think most people were because the Vikings traded for him. And the next thing you know, they trade Howell. They release Rippon. Brosmer's still on the roster. Most people think he will be. We'll find out at 3 o'clock. And then the Vikings.
Oh, he will be.
And then the Vikings assign Carson Wentz off the streets. Your thoughts?
Well, I think when Howell didn't play the other night, it was just an assumption. That's all people could make would be that, well, they don't want him to risk injury. He's going to be the backup to JJ, and he's not going to play. And he had one half, first exhibition game that he looked okay. And other than that, he didn't impress anybody in camp at all. So, kudos to those guys. They made the call and said, Brosmer has been impressing more. Rippon's a guy that's been around the league a little while, but where they're what the pecking order is going to be is going to be interesting when they go back to practice. But Carson Wentz is a guy who's been around the block, obviously a bunch of times, and we had a number 2 or number 3 overall pick 2 years ago. Had some injury issues, but it to me seems like the perfect kind of gap quarterback that can come in here and be on the sidelines and be another set of eyes and ears sort of for JJ when he comes to the sidelines after every drive. KOC's got his hands full of other things as well, but he kind of fits that mold. And he's kind of one of us, Midwest guy, the whole story. So, he was available, didn't really play. It was backing up Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure he learned a lot last year in Andy Reid's system. So he comes to camp, hopefully healthy and ready to go. But you got to have someone, I think, with a little longer in the tooth. And the Vikings decided to go that way
because Carson Wentz was available anytime we would have wanted him. Right. We decided to trade for Sam Howell. Do you think this is the franchise admitting we blundered the backup quarterback position?
Blundered might be a little strong. I think there's always throwing darts when you start talking about backup quarterbacks and guys that have been around. You never know how they're going to work out, and it's not even to suggest that Howell couldn't step in, with the first team offense and perform at high enough level. I'm not saying Sam Darnold.
And why couldn't he? Because he's got the quarterback whisperer.
Well,
it seems like everybody tells me that when O'Connell touches a quarterback, he turns to gold. What happened there?
Well, I think you still got to. He's not on the field, and he wasn't making the throws that I think they wanted him to make in practice and scrimmages.
He didn't have his feet in his
proper alignment.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah,
what it was.
We move on. It's one of those topics that occurs every August, I guess, July, August. But really, when it comes down to it, what does it matter? I mean, you really don't want to think about the backup quarterback because we've talked about this. If you have to go to your backup quarterback, you're probably not going to have a successful season.
Correct.
So, I mean, the discussion point is, okay, we got Carson Wentz now instead of Sam Howell and Max Brosmer sitting. I don't want Max Brosmer to play unless he's playing in garbage time, kneeling down in the fourth quarter. This isn't about any of that. I mean, it's really about the entirety of the roster. And right now, the bigger concerns are cornerback and wide receiver. And according to Adam Schefter, it doesn't sound as if the Thielen talks are going all that well. The Panthers, speaking of Adam Thielen, released wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, who's been around the block for a while. And with the Vikings, look at him.
Do you think the Vikings will get Hunter Renfrow?
I don't know. I don't. I think all these guys, the KJ Osborne's available again.
Do you think the Vikings will get KJ Osborne?
I think any of these guys are not necessarily as good as what they have on their current roster when they're healthy. I mean, I think we're talking about what's his name. I'm blanking out. The wide receiver at the Vikings. Who hurt his hand?
Jalen Naylor.
Jalen Naylor. I mean, I think I would rather have Jalen Naylor than any of these guys. I mean, not Thielen, but I think Thielen I would like to have. But
you would?
Well, yeah, I think it would be a perfect fit.
Is it because he's one of us?
No.
Okay, well, I'm just asking.
I think
he likes the nostalgic story of young local kid comes back to Minnesota.
That's what it is.
To finish his career and retire here.
Because that's what a lot of people like. Because we are one of us kind of state.
I've never seen you smile like that before. You actually do have teeth.
Usually I'm on the other side.
I've never seen him before.
Pretty good.
No, I think it's because he knows the system. I mean,
he's been injury riddled off and on now for the past few years.
I don't care that he's from Hutchinson. I think it's good that he would come back. But no, it doesn't matter.
He's actually from Glencoe. He knows Lil B real well.
Yes, they dated.
Honestly, it's like the backup quarterback conversation, but. You got to piecemeal something together for 3 games, and then Addison's back. But you will have opportunities to have 3 wide receiver sets. It's not something that KOC is ignoring. So that position is important enough. So hopefully Naylor will get healthy enough, and he'll be the guy.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Steph's going to come by from Blue Barn. She's going to bring us goodies. So they're going to do that on the other side of the break. Plenty more to get to. We're broadcasting live from the Minnesota State Fair. Mark Rosen joining Common Man and Tana B. We're at Carousel Park in the shadows of the grandstand. Right here on the Fan.
Sweatshirt and get ready to laugh. Comedy icon Adam Sandler is bringing his You're My Best Friend tour to the XL Energy Center October 22nd. Don't miss out on brand new jokes, classic bits, even a song or two. Tickets on sale now. Full details, KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
14 past. I'm Comedies Tend to Be the legendary Mark Rosen here at Carousel Park, shadows of the grandstand, live from the Minnesota State Fair. We always have a number of guests on the Common Man program during the fair. Meat Sauce, Ben Lieber, Michael Russo will be here, Frost Players, and so many others. My favorite guest is Steph Schimpf from Blue Barn, not only because she's a wonderful lady, but she brings gifts all the time, some of the best food you're going to find this side of the grandstand. Thanks for coming over again. We appreciate that.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Now, what do you have for us today? You have something in a waffle cone that looks mighty delicious.
This is a classic. This is our legacy item, the chicken and the waffle cone with sausage gravy.
Ooh.
And like any good waffle cone ice cream type thing, there's a surprise at the bottom.
Ooh.
And you also have a mighty fine looking dessert, I believe. What do we have here, Steph?
That is our new item this year. It's called Sweet Squeakers.
Sweet Squeakers.
So the squeaker part comes from the cheese curds. When the cheese curds are brand new, freshly made, they squeak in your mouth.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of mashed it up with another State Fair favorite. It has a funnel cake batter on the outside. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gives like mini donut meets cheesecake or mini donut meets cheese curd vibe. A little bit of homemade lemon whipped cream. and homemade berry sauce.
Yum, yum. My goodness, I got a mouthful. And you also brought us some cold brew.
Campfire cold brew.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I love coffee, but I almost always drink it hot. I'm not a cold coffee. This is spectacular. This is an iced coffee that is so good. The bees are even coming to get it. Look at they're hunting for Mark.
They know I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the little golden grams marshmallowy thing going on.
Oh my!
It's just delicious.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because it seems like every year you come up with like something new and creative. That seems like a state fair competition, right? Like, who is involved in the decision making, the process of coming up with the new ideas, and like I'm just trying to think of like how do you brainstorm something like the squeakers? That just seems crazy to me.
It's an all-year process. I'm constantly taking notes. Even right now, I'll see something. I might see one ingredient that sparks an idea, and then I'll write that down in my little notebook. And then my partner and I and our team would sit and totally do what you just said. We'd brainstorm. Maybe November, December, January, and then we'd start in a test kitchen trying things out. Some ideas, as you know, don't work. And then we'll see what tastes great and then see what we can source and how quickly we can make it. We do a lot of volume over there, so we have to be fast in our production.
And Steph, you've been here since 2014, you said?
2014.
How does it work as far as, are you, pardon the expression, are you grandfathered in, or do you have to, how often do you have to renew it, or how often does the State Fair renew any vendor out here?
Technically, it's a year-to-year contract.
Really?
It's a year-to-year license.
Okay.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that since I built, $1 million plus building 10 years ago, that I can stay for a little while. I'm a top 10 food vendor, so I think that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So if you know what you're doing, just because you have a restaurant or you have a great recipe doesn't make you a great concessionaire. But we like to think that we will be here for a long time.
You're over in the West End near the transit hub for the fair, and it really is a big blue barn, right?
It's a big blue barn, and it's a great place to be next to Skyride and the transit. We get people coming in, and we get them when they leave at the end of the night.
And this might be the best stretch of weather the fair's ever had. I mean, from start to finish, for every reason.
I don't think we could. What would we change, right? This is perfect. It has been cool. People want to eat. They want to drink. It's perfect.
Steph, how long have you been in the food business?
1993.
93.
We opened Highland Grill.
That's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. Sold my little Honda Accord hatchback and saved up my tip money and bought the Highland Grill out of the Star Tribune classified ad section.
Unbelievable.
Next year, can you do something honey related for your food? Bring it to me at Mark Rosen, like the bee.
The bee, like bring the bee in.
The bee and creating honey of some sort.
You got to do hot honey. That's kind of the hot honey's trendy.
Right.
Yeah, well, the bee costume, right?
Well, listen, it's always great to see you.
I have some special sports news too. Even
what's that?
Rumor has it that we're going to have the Gophers QB and offensive line at the Free House tonight for dinner.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Doing a little handoff. We worked with Max Brosmer last year when he played for the Gophers, and he's now with the Vikings.
Correct.
And they're going to do a little handoff. Max
cool. At the Free
to
House
Drake
downtown.
Lindsay and do a little dinner and bring the offensive line in. And as you know, those guys are good eaters.
Those are your favorite customers, aren't they?
Absolutely.
We're doing a radio show there, my friend. Thank you very much. Wait till the break. He comes over and he starts talking.
Is he looking for the bathroom or what?
I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know. I thought he had some breaking news.
You have all sorts of beverages and foods and all sorts of things over there, so people can come. You're open from right early in the morning?
7 a.m. till 10, 11 p.m., kind of depending on when the fireworks go off. We'll bring you guys some blueberry basil lemonade.
Yeah,
that's the
now we're
best.
talking. Thanks,
Yeah.
Steph.
Thanks, Steph. Love you.
We
Take
appreciate
care.
it so much.
Thanks, Steph.
That's Steph Schimpf from Blue Barn. You have some breaking news, NFL, and
I don't have any breaking news.
Well, there was an engagement today. I thought.
Oh,
talk
that
about
one. That's the biggest story of the
Well,
year
why don't
of the
you break?
day.
Because we've not talked about it on the fan. You break the story.
Well,
your sources tell
it
you.
finally happened. Yeah, Travis and Taylor are going to tie the knot. They have a great picture they put on Instagram, which already has over like 4 million hits of him getting down on bended knee and presenting the ring to Taylor. So it will be the royal wedding. That is for sure after the season is over at some point. So that
Lil B almost came to tears. I heard.
well.
No, I'm serious.
I actually watched her podcast with Travis Karn. Told me, and she was actually, and I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan in the world, but I know she's madly popular around the world. She was really cool. She was very, very down to earth. Talked about her family a lot, and
how sweet.
how she likes to make sourdough bread and blah blah.
Oh,
Anyway, but she's also uber talented.
That's what you took out of the podcast, that she eats sourdough bread?
She likes to. No, she bakes, but she makes.
Oh,
She
bakes it.
She's quite the athlete, though, too. Considering what 3-hour night performance she put on. So anyway, yeah, they got engaged today, so that's the big news around the.
My heart's full.
That's the.
My heart is full now.
That's the biggest transaction that's occurred in the NFL.
Who gets the best man? Is it Mahomes or his brother, do you think? Well, seriously, who do you think it'll be?
It'll be his brother.
How do you know? It might be Pat Mahomes.
I don't think it'll be Pat Mahomes.
I think there's a pretty good chance it will be Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes has made him more money than his brother has.
Yeah, that's for dang
Yeah,
sure.
that's for sure.
Why is
That B out of here. It freaks me
leave
out.
me
They like
be?
the coffee.
Get it?
Yeah, correct.
Leave me. Side-splitting humor you won't get anywhere else. Get out of here. Okay.
Otherwise, nothing else new with
We
the
need to
3
kill this
o'clock
thing.
deadline approaching.
Well, I don't think the Vikings
I don't think the Thielen thing is going to happen. But
no, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I think it would have by now.
And to me, it's
again.
he's fine.
Yeah,
He's
I'm with
okay,
you.
but he's just past his prime. I think, unless
The
all of a
Vikings aren't
sudden
going to give up a 3rd-round pick for him.
No,
and we know their draft choices. I mean, they're getting all these 6th-round picks. Well, they have 2 players left from those Kwesi's first two drafts. That's it on their roster.
Jalen Naylor's one of them.
They did release
Blackman.
Gabe Murphy, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise. Who actually had a pretty good camp, and he had a sack and a half or whatever.
they traded Blackman.
But they're loaded.
They traded Blackman to the Colts.
Yeah, he's unfortunately for Blackman. He got hurt a year ago, and what was a promising start to his career kind of ended. Those ACLs are really tough to come back from. And get another shot at it. Look what happened to Lewis Seen. That was kind of that devastating, that gruesome injury suffered in London. He really never recovered from, and it's not like, well, blame Kwesi for that. Well, Lewis Seen had a promising career, but his knee was just almost like Teddy Bridgewater, like
Hamburger.
fashion.
It was like hamburger.
It was nothing. It was grotesque to look at. So
Yeah, nothing
hard
left,
to come back.
Nothing left of it after that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a final break. Come back. We got another segment to go with the legendary Mark Rosen. If you have questions for Mark, you can come up to our 5 C's microphones. A microphone. We take questions, comments, concern, compliments, and complaints. We'll take a short break. Come back with one more segment live from the Minnesota State Fair. We're at Carousel Park. Shadows of the Grandstand right here on the Fan.
Fan.
Final segment of the program. I'm the common man, Dan Cole, along with Tana B. The legendary Mark Rosen is here. It's a Talker Tuesday. Our KFAN fair mic is right in front of us. 5 questions. We take comments, concerns, compliments, complaints, and questions. Young man, your name, please.
Orlando guy.
Orlando guy.
Yay.
Up for a little visit, are you?
Coming up for the weekend, just coming to see you guys and have a little Pronto Pop.
Okay, very good. What do you got for us?
I have something controversial to say.
That's interesting.
It's have you guys ever heard of the Power Trip Morning Show?
The what?
No.
I've heard of it, but I've never listened.
They do on Fridays. They do an initial game,
Okay.
and I'm petitioning for every caller on Friday to guess the most common letter until the jackpot's hit. It's up to almost 100,000. Wow. Do you know what the most common initials are?
Together?
Together.
No idea.
Who created the game?
Corey Cole.
CC?
CC.
Chris Carter. So okay. All right.
I'm saying I'm putting it out there. We do CC every Friday until it's hit, and unless it's rigged,
It's got to eventually get to that.
it's got to. Exactly.
Yeah, the double letters can really throw people off. That's why I think this thing could go on forever.
Yeah.
Because
Good, but I think CC, it's got to hit.
You've really cracked the code on that one.
CC,
Correct. There's-
CC Ryder, right?
I'm trying to think of what
That's
else.
CR.
Not many I can come up with.
CC Ryder.
Ryder.
Yeah, it's the name of the
there
song.
you go.
CC. It's a long
Thanks,
story.
guys.
Well, we'll put that in the hat.
Sky, you might go Gophers.
There you go. Take care, Orlando guy.
Speaking of the Gophers, I think everybody's pretty excited. I think there are a lot of delusional people, and that's what the coach wants. He actually did that in a positive sense. He was saying, this was about in the last 2 weeks, P.J. Fleck talking to the media said, well, we need to be delusional. We have to believe that we can be one of those 12 teams. I think it certainly is easier for, well, I shouldn't say easy, it's not as difficult for a team like a school that's, and there are a lot of University of Minnesota football teams out there that are very similar to that, right? Where they don't have the nil, they're not a helmet school, they don't have a legacy. But now when you're inviting 12 teams rather than just 4, you got an outside chance if you put together a couple of good recruiting classes, you hit the jackpot on a couple of people, particularly the quarterback. You have an outside chance of getting one of those spots.
It's definitely opened up. I mean, and the parity with scholarships, with the shared revenue. There are a lot of things that were not equal before, and it's not to say that Ohio State's got that big game at home on Saturday against Texas. Texas, I think, is even a slight favorite in that game. And there's some other marquee games as well, but those are unusual to start a season with. But it would always be Ohio State and Michigan. And Michigan's owned Ohio State for like a decade, I think, during their game. So beyond that, the Gophers are trying to get in that conversation like Indiana was a year ago. And now that you got a team like Indiana that accomplished that, it gives you something to shoot for. So yeah, we can do that. We can be that, and that may not happen this year, but in a couple of years, and given the recruiting classes on paper that PJ's been assembling, they've been seemingly putting together the right pieces to keep, not only the top in-state players, but getting some other top-rated players from around the country to come to Minnesota. And I think, whether or not it pans out this year, getting some signature wins is really something that I think, overall he's been lacking. They've had, they beat Penn State, they beat Michigan. They've had a couple big wins, but not enough consistency where they'll fall flat against, an Iowa or something. They just can't get over the hump to really get to that next level.
Well, your Ohio State's is and your Texas is they're at a point where they can play against each other in the first game of the season, and a loss is not going to hurt them in the rankings. It's not going to hurt them in bowl consideration because they've got equity built up. A Minnesota Golden Gopher team, that would be almost suicide to do that. Not that they couldn't win a game like that or two, but they get 3 of those games to start the season. They're probably going to lose 2 of them, maybe even all 3 if they're playing, top 10 schools. And then all of a sudden you're not really doing yourself any good. Ohio State and Texas can do it also because of it's just that much more exposure that they get. Not that most people that play college football or know college football know those universities, but that's going to be the big game of the weekend. It's going to be national TV,
right? And
any kids that are highly regarded and highly recruited, they see that game on there, that opens up their eyes, and they know there's nil money there. So yeah, you got once you get to the point where you can play another top 10 team in the season opener. That's when you've arrived as a big time football program.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, talking about you're always going to have that echelon of Ohio State and Michigan in particular, and Penn State. I guess you can put them in the conversation as well. I think what Indiana did last year, and pretty much every Big Ten team is, honestly, with the exception of the Gophers, has had that moment where they've been able to go to a Rose Bowl. Not necessarily make the playoffs, but now you have things opened up a lot more, and Minnesota has that chance. And, I don't think their second game of the year here is, JG was just here. I can't remember the name of the team. Maybe Tanner can look it up, but it's one of those teams that's just like a hyphenated team.
Northwestern State or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the Gophers were 17-point favorites Thursday night against the Buffalo team that, on paper is not bad, but, Minnesota should roll over them. But we've seen that before. So they got enough talent. I think
Northwestern State.
Yeah, there you go. And then they go to California.
What is their mascot in Northwestern State? Do we know? Looks like Satan.
Satan.
Demons.
Yeah, you're not too far off.
A wounded demon is a dangerous demon, so don't overlook that club.
I'm overlooking
Do not
them.
overlook the demons of Northwestern.
But it's fun. We got college football.
Northwestern State.
Yeah, there you go. So, football season's upon us, and I think right now people are ready for it. The weather feels like football weather. High school football's kicking off. College, obviously, the NFL. A week from Thursday, the NFL season begins, and the Vikings, of course, have to wait till the last game of that weekend.
Your favorite pitcher since Jim Perry.
Jim Perry?
He was your favorite pitcher. Since Jim Perry. Joe Ryan
man.
has his second mediocre outing in a row. And, there was a headline, I think it was in the Fish Wrap Factory West Side, that was saying Joe Ryan's had one of the best seasons of a starting pitcher for the Minnesota Twins in the last 25 years. And so I'm not ready to say, well, he's washed up. Maybe we should put him on the trading block. But it is a little bit unusual that it's dominant. He's been actually dominant this year. He's had two mediocre
But didn't he have this problem a year ago, late in the year?
He may have.
I think he did. And that's the thing that's a little concerning. When you look at the future and what they plan to do with Pablo Lopez coming back, I haven't heard anything about Lopez coming back in September. I mean, to me, it seems foolish to even try to put him out there. Just to shut him down and wait till next spring. He's under contract. Ryan's under contract. But any thoughts about getting a long extension? Not that these two starts should dictate all that. They really don't have any other choices. But you get the sense that the Twins are starting to bring up. I think what we're going to see is, unlike when we've had this conversation a million times, when you talk about they're not going to play so and so because arbitration is going to kick in.
Yep.
I think, my guy, Walker Jenkins, Culpepper
he's at AAA now, right?
Yeah, he's going to be in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Culpepper's the shortstop of the future. You're going to see guys coming up probably to the Twins sooner than later and not worrying about that because they don't really have any other choices. I mean, they just have to have, unless Larnach, Wallner, Brooksley, obviously Royce Lewis can kind of figure it out. That's the nucleus of your team. In your everyday lineup, then you're going to have, put in a Walker Jenkins. I don't think you should wait any longer. If he can be ready, next April, May, whatever, bring him up, play him. What have you got to lose? Nothing. I mean, we're watching these guys flounder right now.
How many games are left in the St. Paul Saints season? Do they play about the same length of a season?
No, I think it's they don't play 162.
Because the reason I ask is because if Walker Jenkins is going to be with St. Paul, and they're going to have a couple of home series, I bet you'll see a spike in ticket sales. The people that really like baseball and like watching talent, there will be people that will go because it's not just like, well, he's considered a pretty good player. He's considered one of the best prospects in all of baseball. And so I think you'll see a spike in tickets.
There might be more people to go watch him than anyone else on the Twins.
I think you're right.
And given where the Twins are in the standings right now, they're going to get on paper, they're going to get a top pick. Not that you're looking forward to. It's like, oh, great. To get a top pick in the amateur draft next year, they could potentially even get the number one pick. Then what? Wait another 3-4 years. It's the problem with baseball compared to any other sport.
Speaking of the Twins, public relations. Let's say you are a public relations firm that's been hired to put a positive spin on the Twins. How would you? Is that the toughest public relations job in sports right now? One of them, right?
I'd have to say so. Other than maybe the White Sox, being in the same city as the Cubs.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how you sell this team in the off season from a standpoint. I sat down with Dave.
They've already done get to know them.
Yeah, and they're going to have to get to know them again.
Yeah, right.
But there's so much out there that's that's not settled yet. The TV situation, or the local television situation. Even Dave St. Peter told me they're really looking at the 162 game schedule, believe it or not, which has been a sacred cow for Major League Baseball forever. The realignment, all those other things aside from what the Twins have to do. The limited partners will be announced once Major League Baseball okays that portion.
Do you have any idea who they might be?
No, I could not get it out of Dave. I have no idea. No idea. I think one's local, one's out, not local. But how much money they're planning to put in, how they're going to utilize it. But it's a significant number.
It is.
But, that doesn't mean they're going to go out and sign the next Ohtani. I mean, it just means they're going to hopefully reinforce and probably help pay off some of their debt. It's very confusing to me still.
Right.
Honestly.
But at least for those that wanted a clean sweep of ownership, I don't know if I don't know how much influence the limited partners will have, but if they do have some, which they'll have an influx of money, they maybe have a word or two to say about it. That could help, but I still think it's, for most fans, you heard the groundswell. You saw it. There were people that were where I think the real tipping point came when after they won the division and broke the post-game losing skid.
Right.
They cut payroll. That started
I brought that up to him.
Then the fire sale happened, and I think there's been a lot of abandoned ship. And I don't know what it will take for the fans to get back on board. It will. I guess the only way they get back on board is if over the next 2, 3, 4 years, however long this rebuild takes, they actually develop into a real contender, right? If they become a real, people will come back. Winning cures every ill. You know that.
They went through this in the late 90s. I mean, they had, after the World Series years, they went through a really bad stretch, and people started turning away, and basically the same song and dance was occurring, and they managed to get over it. And with that next group, win a whole bunch of division titles, but just always end up facing the Yankees seemingly, or once in a while Oakland. And we know the streak existed at that time, the postseason streak. So they've been through. That's why I think the poll ads just putting their head down and going, "Well, we're gonna just do it this way." I'm not saying they're immune to the criticism, because the mighty dollar speaks, and fans are turning away in droves. But it's not to say they haven't been through stuff like this before. So, like it or not, the name will still be here associated with the Minnesota.
Well, they have to. That family must have to have. They must have thick skin, because they are getting pilloried pretty much. Like I've never seen before. I mean, there's always been.
Yes.
Certain gadflies out there. I don't know who they might be, but people that have picked on the Twins and called them penny pinchers and all this, the whole pocket protectors. But now it seems like I don't talk to many, listeners or pals or anybody that are not just completely fed up with it.
Yeah, I try to compare them with some other owners in other sports. The Bidwell family comes to mind, Rosey family at times. There's other owners who've obviously taken the wrath of the fans for many, many years.
For moving the clubs. Yeah, like when the Browns moved and the Colts moved, and the
Rockies owners not doing, but they're still drawing. The Rockies owners not reinvesting in his team. But I think, people point at Milwaukee and say, look at, their payroll's not that high, and they're winning. They got the best record in baseball. Your team, the Brewers. Sometimes you just have to put it on the players' shoulders as well. I mean, I think, again, it's the Wallner, Larnack's, Royce Lewis's, Brooks Lee. Some of these guys, the pitching staff, just didn't get it done. I don't know what else to say, but you got to have better production from some of those players you've invested in.
How about your gal Fee? Comes back and picks up right where she left off, right?
And there's another. Not to worry about next year, because the Lynx hopefully will win the championship again this year. But because they got Chicago's first pick, they're likely to get a number 1, 2, or 3 pick in the WNBA draft. But Fee she's going to win the MVP award. They're such a well-rounded team, and I think they got it. They have that team primed for a deep playoff run again, and it should be very exciting with the Viking season going on.
Well, and when it comes to Cheryl, right, Reeve, one of the things gadflies will do it. I've done it myself. Team will win a championship, or even a couple. Do it again. Well, she built a dynasty. Really, they won 4
in 7 years.
4 in 7 years. And then the team kind of took a downslide, right? And you're bound to do that. It's hard to keep winning. But now that team is getting back to where it was. And to me, this is even, to me, as big as, or even a bigger accomplishment than winning 4 to 6. Does that make sense? I mean,
they had some really good number one. When you get Simone Augustus, Maya Moore, Lindsay Whalen in a trade, Rebecca Brunson, Sylvia Fowles. I mean, you had some of them were because of your team wasn't very good. You were able to draft them, but they put the pieces together, won 4 championships in how many years? 5, 6 years, and now you're right. They had to retool it. But Cheryl has done a magnificent job, and the people surrounding them, from scouting, making trades, finding the right pieces to play as a team. Like I said, now because they swung that deal with the Chicago Sky, they have a top. They're going to have, because Chicago's awful. They're going to have a top pick next year in the draft. So they're going to get another outstanding collegiate player to fit into what they want to be doing. So they might be in the verge of another dynasty.
And it's really at the Frost too. We have 2 winning teams, and they're both on the women's side.
Cheryl's made the point too that the fans' reaction right now is even different than it was before. I mean, she was talking about it with Whalen. She commented about it. And the other players, she said other teams are jealous of what we have here, and not necessarily just the numbers, but I think the association that fans feel with this basketball team and the passion that they have for the Lynx is almost even more intense than it was a few years ago when they had those championship teams.
You'll be with us tomorrow, right?
I will. I can't wait.
Yeah, and that's time now for Mouth Guitar Guy.
Yeah.
Mouth Guitar Guy.
He's right behind me.
You are ready. Let's have a big round of applause for Mouth Guitar Guy. 48 years at the Minnesota State Fair. He has 25 here at the Fan. Last week and all of this week, it's been an ode to the late Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, yeah.
Mouth Guitar Guy, what do you have for us today?
Well, I'm going to do a slight bit of a medley, and then I'm going to go directly into the Wizard of Black Sabbath.
No, medley to the Wizard. Let's do it.
Yep. Over the mountain, near the rainy sky, near little bird, near the below. Mr. Crowley, need a marrow, Mr. Lamy, little girl, the light of the notification, I couldn't go. Little new direction. Then in all of it go. Today I saw a miracle man. Tell me no lie. There's no miracle man who's not in the sky. I don't know where he come from, but I know this really been was a little Jimmy Santa that I saw on the screen. Miracle Man, God busted. Miracle Man, God busted.
Mouth Guy with a medley and Miracle Man. Very well done. Very well done. Is that the first time you've done a medley? I don't ever remember medley before. Maybe you did it. I just don't
I had
remember.
a little bit of surprise on that one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do the Wizard.
No.
Money got in the sky without warning. The weather was by. In the shadows, in the don't run and leaving bell. We have on him, just magic.
Woo! Guitar Guy, let's hear it for him. Well done, Mouth Guitar Guy, with another brilliant performance. What do you got coming up tomorrow? Have you made a decision on the set list?
Well, I got tomorrow. Let's see, I'm trying to figure this out. I think I've got, I've got Suicide Solution.
Suicide Solution from Ozzy in Black Sabbath. Very good.
I think I got Bark at the Moon.
Okay.
And, it's Bark at the Moon and Paranoid.
Perfect. Thank you. That's Mouth Guitar Guy.
At the grandstand right now, they're doing the sound check for Def Leppard.
Yep.
Are they hearing this on the other side of the grandstand? How do we compete with this?
Well, they
I mean, how do we top this?
They can't do that. Let's hear it for the legendary Mark Rose. Where did he go? Mark Rosen has left the building. Mark Rosen has left the building. We thank him. He'll join us again tomorrow. Notorious D.I.G.
Yeah!
Notorious!
Notorious.
Yes, not notorious. Notorious. Good to see you, Notorious D.I.G. So again, the legendary Mark Rosen will join us again tomorrow. What else do we have on tap tomorrow, Tinneby?
Tomorrow we have David Booth from the Special Olympics. We'll stop by at 12:15, and then
the Twin Cities is hosting the Special Olympics this year.
Rock Talk with Brian Oak at 1 o'clock. He'll be here for an hour tomorrow, including they'll be playing you versus Oak in Name That Tune tomorrow at 1:30, and then Rosen will be back from 2 to probably 2:50 tomorrow because he's got to leave early.
Yeah, he had to leave.
He's got to leave a couple minutes early.
Hey, thanks for coming by today and visiting us at the Minnesota State Fair. We do appreciate that. Thanks for listening. We enjoy your patronage. We're back again tomorrow at the fair at 12 o'clock. You just heard the list of guests and what we'll do. Stick around, though. Big Ticket and JG, they are next live from the fair right here on The Fan. Thanks again.
Adios. Au revoir. Good night.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash.
wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.